Okay, so let's focus on this polenta for a moment. I have 1 cup of polenta, 2 cups of whole milk, and 2 cups of chicken broth. And I like to start out cooking with a whisk just to make sure that any clumps that might be in the polenta will dissipate with that whisking action. So you want to give it a pretty vigorous stir to start with because once it comes to a boil, you're not going to really stir it too much. You'll stir it just to make sure that it's not sticking, but you won't need to stir that much more to stop it from clumping up. So this important part is at the very beginning. So you want to cook these nice and low and slow. Speed is not the objective here. We want the creaminess to really have a chance to come out of the corn. I'm going to add in some salt and pepper, and then I'll taste. I may add in a little bit of garlic powder, and then at the very end, I'm going to add in a tablespoon of butter and some grated Parmesan. You could do cheddar, white cheddar, whatever your taste buds feel like would go well with the mushrooms. But I just want a little extra hit of creaminess to offset the robustness of those mushrooms. So I'm going to bring this up to a boil. And then as soon as it does that, I will immediately turn down the heat to a simmer, let this, cover this, and then let them simmer for, I would say, about 20 minutes. These are not like quick grits that cook immediately. So these actually do need that time to fully cook through. Otherwise they'll be too crunchy and kind of gross. And then you want to keep your eye on it because grits do stick. You don't want your grits to char, to get burned at the bottom. So I would say, check on it every 4 or 5 minutes or so, just to give it a gentle stir and to make sure that it's not sticking. And pretty soon we'll be ready to serve this up. See you in a few. Okay, the polenta is finished. The mushrooms are finished. We have a few little last steps that we're going to do. And the first one is to fry up these remaining mushrooms. So my butter is almost fully melted here. So I'm going to add these, and we want these to be nice and crisp to give a little hint of texture to the finished product. So I'm just gonna put these in a single layer. Like that. And then I'm gonna just let them brown. Add a little bit of pepper and salt to that, and then also some paprika for color. And I changed my mind. I said that I was going to do Parmesan in the grits, but when I thought about it again, I'm like, I'm gonna use Gruyere. Gruyere is a French cheese. It's in the Swiss cheese family. It's nice and rich. It seemed like it was kind of fitting with the Frenchness of this dish and would be the perfect level of creaminess to offset the mushrooms. So I used about a cup of Gruyere, shredded up into the grits. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a little bit of a stir to make sure that salt and pepper is evenly distributed. And then I'm also going to add in some paprika for color. Okay, so we're gonna leave that alone for a few moments. We have a couple more steps to make sure that our mushrooms are ready. So take off the top there. I have 1 clove of garlic that I grated, and I'll add that in. And then I also have some fresh parsley, and I'm gonna add that in too. Just grab a spatula and mix that all together. You really want to mix that well so that the garlic doesn't all rest in one spot. Okay, so I'm going to take out my bay leaf. And let me show this to you. If I can lift this daggone thing because it's so heavy. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And as soon as the mushrooms are finished here, I'm going to plate this up and show it to you. and we'll be all set. So those are looking pretty good. Again, we want to make them nice and crisp, so they need a few minutes of contact with that butter and oil to really, really crisp them up. So I'm gonna give those a few more minutes, and I'll return, plate this up, and bid you adieu. Okay, our dish is done. We have our fried oyster mushrooms, the mushrooms bourguignon, and then of course our polenta underneath. So it's all set. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.